The 108th time Ryan abandoned me. I stumbled upon a social media post from his childhood friend. Brother is the best. Even in a heavy rainstorm, he rushed back to celebrate my birthday. Only those who are favored are truly the happiest. The post was accompanied by a picture. And in the picture, the man was none other than my husband, Ryan. He was gently covering Sarah's eyes, with a beautifully decorated cake in front of them. In the past, I would have immediately called him, demanding an explanation. But now, I'm tired. I just calmly replied, "May you and your B*TCH be together forever." Chapter 1. I sat alone on the windowsill of the hotel, staring out at the rain, my vision long blurred. Even now, I can't believe that my husband would leave me once again for his childhood friend. I still remember that summer when a torrential rainstorm hit the entire city. I was trapped in the suburbs, and he drove for over 10 hours, braving the dangers to find me. Back then, I felt sorry for him and scolded him for being reckless, but he just pulled me into his arms, relieved. "Chloe, I can't lose you." Yet now, he abandons me over and over again for another woman. At that moment, the phone rang. It was Ryan. He sounded frustrated. "You know Sarah has depression, and yet you made such a comment to provoke her. Chloe, when did you become so cruel?" I said nothing and hung up. Then came a message. "Today is Sarah's birthday. If I'm not there, she might do something drastic. I left in a hurry and didn't have time to tell you. Stop making a fuss." I suddenly found it ridiculous. Every time Ryan and I were together, Sarah's depression would mysteriously return. The lies were so obvious, yet he believed them without question. When we were dating, I didn't even know Sarah existed. It wasn't until our wedding day that a girl, with a knife to her throat, asked Ryan why he wasn't marrying her. That's when I learned he had a childhood friend, Chloe. I only see her as a sister. Believe me, I believed him, so I tolerated everything. But slowly, I realized something was wrong. Her depression only seemed to flare up when I was around. I tried telling Ryan, but not only did he not believe me, he accused me of lacking compassion. After countless disappointments and being abandoned time and time again, I was tired. The man I had chased since our school days was finally out of my reach. Chapter 2. After the rain stopped, my mom came to pick me up. Seeing how disheveled I looked, she pulled me into her arms. "Heartbroken. Sweetheart, don't let yourself suffer like this anymore. Come home, and I'll take care of you." The bitterness in my heart overflowed, and I buried my face in her arms, sobbing uncontrollably. In truth, my mom never supported my marriage to Ryan. She thought Ryan was arrogant and not a good match for me. It was my own stubbornness, even threatening my life, that made her relent. Now, I deserve this ending. I sent Ryan a message. "Let's find a time to talk." He didn't reply to me until the next day when he called. "Sarah is in a really bad mood. I stayed up all night taking care of her without any sleep. Can you be understanding and stop making a fuss?" I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. "I've already made room for you too. Isn't that considerate enough? You might as well bring her home and take care of her wholeheartedly." He immediately flew into a rage. "Chloe, you've grown bold, threatening me by running away from home. If you have the guts, don't ever come back." My heart was already as calm as still water. I replied coldly, "Fine, there's nothing left between us. What's the point of going back?" He was stunned for a moment, not expecting me to be so firm, so he softened his tone. "I'll come pick you up tonight after I'm done, okay?" He's always like this, thinking that if he throws me some scraps, I should gratefully accept them. I know he's waiting for me to apologize, waiting for me to admit I'm petty, waiting for me to reflect on my mistakes. But I didn't reply at all. After hanging up, I added him and Sarah to my blacklist. Watching my mom busying herself in the kitchen, my nose suddenly tingled. After my father passed away, she used her frail shoulders to support our family. I grew up pampered by her love, never lifting a finger for household chores. But since marrying Ryan, worrying about his stomach problems, I learned to cook. Dish after dish got burnt, and scars piled up on my hands. Now I can cook very well, but he rarely has time to sit down and have a proper meal with me. Most of those scars have faded now, just like his love for me, gradually thinning. All these years, for a man, I stubbornly sought his favor, but ended up covered in wounds, even caused my mom to worry about me. What's so good about him that made me give up everything? Chapter 3. My mom saw me hang up the phone and cautiously asked, "Honey, are you really not planning to go back?" I smiled at her. "Mom, I'm tired. I don't want to live just for him anymore." Her eyes reddened instantly, and she hugged me tightly. "He's the blind one. Our girl is the best." That night, Ryan didn't come. Instead, he called from another number. "Sarah's depression has worsened. I can't leave. You should take a taxi back yourself." I even found it laughable. She's sick but doesn't see a doctor. Instead, she looks for a married man. Is a married man her special medicine? I told you there's no need to pick me up. Just focus on taking care of her. He suddenly became angry out of embarrassment. "Sarah is just my sister. Why are you always being so paranoid? If you don't want to come back, then stay out for a few more days and cool off." I didn't listen any further and hung up directly. Before long, Sarah sent me a friend request. "Sis, I'm sorry. Brother Ryan is just worried about me. Please don't be mad at him, or I'll feel very guilty." I replied calmly, "I'm not angry. Ryan told me he only sees you as a sister. How could I be angry with my sister?" Her message came quickly. "It's good that you're not angry. Brother Ryan is really something. Always leaving you because of me. In the future, I'll put in a good word for you." What a top-grade pretentious coquette. Chapter 4. I hadn't planned on going back, but then I remembered I had an important document at the house. When I opened the door, I saw Ryan and Sarah sitting on my newly bought couch, looking very close. Sarah was peeling a grape and feeding it to his mouth. The expressions on their faces were quite something when they saw me return unexpectedly. Sarah looked displeased, while Ryan seemed a bit awkward as he stood up and walked over. "I thought you wouldn't be coming back anytime soon, so I brought Sarah home." I casually walked past him without a second glance. "No problem. This will be your marital home from now on." Ryan's face darkened. "Chloe, stop being so sarcastic the moment you walk in. Sarah is sick, and you're still provoking her. How can you be so cold-blooded?" I suddenly smiled. "You don't want me to provoke her? That's easy. Let's get a divorce." He immediately flew into a rage, grabbing my arm. "There's a limit to how far you can go. First, you threatened me by leaving, and now you're using divorce as leverage? I've clearly spoiled you too much." On the couch, Sarah bit her lip, her eyes rimmed with red. "Sister Chloe, you've misunderstood Brother Ryan. He's just worried about me. If it bothers you so much, I'll just die." Saying this, she grabbed the fruit knife from the table and pressed it against her wrist. Ryan completely panicked, letting go of me as he rushed to take the knife from Sarah's hand. "Sarah, don't be impulsive. It's her fault. No one's blaming you. Please put the knife down." I couldn't care less about their melodramatic scene and turned to my bedroom to pack my things. When I came back out, Sarah was leaning against Ryan's chest, flashing me a provocative smile. Seeing the suitcase in my hand, Ryan let go of Sarah and grabbed my wrist. "Don't think you can just walk away. Apologize to Sarah right now." He was strong, and I couldn't break free, so I just glared at him coldly. "She's threatened to kill herself so many times. If she had the guts, she'd have done it by now. I could have had a feast already." Ryan looked at me, disappointed. "Chloe, this is a matter of life and death. Yet all you can do is be jealous. How did you become so cruel?" I laughed out of anger, then stomped hard on his foot. He yelped in pain and let go of me. Without hesitation, I raised my hand and slapped him hard across the face. "If you want to talk about cruelty, that would be you. You gave Sarah false hope, then turned around and married me. You're the one who's been tangled up with her during our marriage, making two women suffer for you. Do you enjoy that kind of treatment?" "Sorry, but I'm done playing along." I put all my strength into that slap, and his face immediately swelled and reddened. Sarah, full of concern, gently stroked Ryan's face, her voice laced with anger. "Chloe, what gives you the right to hit him? Do you even know how hard Ryan's been working lately? Taking care of me and still having to deal with your emotions?" Can't you be more understanding toward him? I couldn't help but mock her. Everyone's asking me to be understanding. How should I be more understanding? By handing over my husband to you? Is that considerate enough? Sure. Take him. I don't want this trash anymore. You can pick it up. Tears instantly welled up in Sarah's eyes, and she looked aggrieved. You're being too cruel. You just want me dead. I didn't bother arguing with her any further. I grabbed my suitcase and walked out the door. Chapter 5. After that day, Ryan didn't come looking for me. He probably thought I'd throw a little tantrum like before and come back after a few days. After all, throughout our marriage, every time we fought, I was the one who apologizes first. That was until I sent him the divorce papers. Ryan called me, furious. You're being ridiculous. Do you really think I won't divorce you? Aren't you afraid of that? I couldn't help but sneer. Afraid of what? Afraid I'll never find another piece of trash like you? He cursed under his breath, his voice growing colder. Chloe, you're really pushing your luck now. You've cursed me, slapped me, and now what more do you want? All these years, I've given you everything, food, clothes, you still want more? I couldn't help but laugh coldly. I only want one thing, divorce. Can you give me that? In his eyes, I was nothing but someone he provided for, someone useless without him. But he forgot that when he first started his business, he had nothing. It was me who asked my friends to lend him money bit by bit. It was me who accompanied him to every social event, swallowing drink after drink, trading my health for his future. And in the process, I lost our baby. Back then, he cried and promised me he'd take care of me for the rest of my life. But now, only 5 years later, everything has changed. He hung up the phone, and moments later, I received a message from him. If you don't want to make a scene in front of my mom, get down here now. Ever since his company grew bigger, his attitude towards me became more impatient. Every word he said to me felt like a command, as if I were not his wife, but his subordinate. I picked up my phone and went downstairs. He drove quickly, heading straight to a restaurant by the seaside. You've been talking about coming here for a while, so today I brought you to try it, he said. This place was very popular, and I had mentioned countless times that I wanted him to take me here. But every time, something came up, and 9 times out of 10, it was about Sarah. Back then, I had argued with him about it, but all he said was, calm down, before slamming the door and leaving. In fact, I had already been to this restaurant myself before. It wasn't as good as I imagined. Much like my marriage with Ryan, bland and flavorless. As soon as we sat down, his phone started ringing. He glanced at it but didn't pick up. It rang again and again, and his expression became more anxious. He grabbed his phone and walked out. Soon, he came back, with a hint of apology on his face. Sarah's mood is unstable again. I'll be right back. Just wait for me here. I said nothing. He grabbed his coat from the back of the chair and hurried off. He thought that by merely bringing me here for a meal, he could smooth things over. After all, 4 years, his way of placating me had always been the same, and it always worked. But the truth is, I wasn't easy to appease. I just loved him. But this time, I didn't want to love him anymore. Loving him was too exhausting. When I got home, a notification popped up on my phone. It was a photo of Sarah, lying happily on a man's back. I recognized the man instantly. It was Ryan. I still remember the first time I saw Ryan. He gave me this exact same view of his back. At that time, I was attending an event off campus and had twisted my ankle. He crouched down in front of me and carried me to the school infirmary just like that. The sunlight fell on the side of his face, and in that moment, I couldn't help but fall for him. After we started dating, every time I pouted or acted spoiled, he would lovingly tap my nose. Then he'd bend down and say, "Hop on, my little princess." Those beautiful moments feel like they were just yesterday, but now someone else has taken my place on his back. I really don't understand how someone who once loved me so much could change so quickly. Chapter 6. Half asleep, I was woken up by the sound of my phone ringing. It was Ryan. On the other end, his voice was cold. Didn't we agree you'd wait for me? Where are you? I suddenly felt like laughing. How had I never noticed how self-centered he was before? I've waited long enough. I don't want to wait anymore. Then I hung up and turned off my phone. For so many years, I've been waiting for him to marry me, waiting for him to come home, waiting for him to make time for me. In the past, I would stubbornly keep waiting, but now, I don't want to wait even one more second. I didn't expect Sarah to come looking for me alone. Chloe, you've really misunderstood Ryan. He's just worried about my health. Why do you have to be so petty? I let out a cold laugh and tore through her pretense. Why bother pretending? Don't you know whether you're sick or not? She smiled, bright and proud. Chloe, aren't you being stupid? But what do you have to compete with me? Look at yourself now. How can you even compare to me? She didn't need to say it, I already knew. I was disheveled, and compared to her, all dressed up and glamorous, there was no comparison. I didn't bother responding and tried to walk past her, ready to leave, but she grabbed my hand, her gaze turning vicious. Ryan and I have been childhood sweethearts for over 20 years. If it weren't for you, he would never have left me. So, Chloe, you're the one who's forcing me. The next second, she threw herself down the stairs. At that moment, Ryan appeared. He rushed over and scooped Sarah into his arms, gently comforting her. Sarah, where did you hurt yourself? Does it hurt? Do you need to go to the hospital? Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes. Ryan, don't blame Chloe. It's my fault for upsetting her. It's only right that she scolds me. Ryan's face was filled with fury as he slapped me across the face. Chloe, I thought you were just being a little stubborn. I never thought you could be this cruel. He held Sarah in his arms and quickly left. I thought we could part on good terms, but it seems we can't. Chapter 7. I began contacting lawyers, deciding to file for divorce. On the day of the hearing, I didn't see Ryan. Instead, I ran into his mother. The moment she saw me, Ryan's mother pointed at me and started shouting, Chloe, you've really got some nerve. Daring to sue my son. Fine, you want a divorce, but don't think for a second you'll get a penny from my family. Ryan's mother never liked me from the start. She looked down on me for being from a single-parent family and had always found faults in me throughout our marriage. For Ryan's sake, I kept tolerating her, thinking that if I treated her well, she would eventually accept me. But slowly, I realized that people's prejudices don't change. The more I tried to please her, the more she took advantage of me. When I bought her things out of kindness, she accused me of wasting her son's money. If I dared to retort that the money was my own, she'd run to Ryan to complain, saying I was disrespecting her. At first, Ryan would defend me, arguing on my behalf. But as time went on, he took his frustration out on me. He started blaming me for not handling these small issues and distracting him with my complaints. After that, I stopped complaining to Ryan. Standing before me now, Ryan's mother continued her tirade. My son Ryan is handsome, talented, there are so many girls lined up waiting for him. Getting rid of you is exactly what I wanted. I couldn't help but laugh angrily. I stepped forward and said, if you think your son is so great, you should find him a few more wives. That way, you'll have more daughters-in-law to boss around, right? As for me, don't bother worrying about me. After all, your son is nothing more than trash I've thrown away. Her face immediately twisted in rage. I told Ryan he shouldn't marry a girl from a single-parent family. He never listened. A family without a father or mother, what kind of person could they raise? Our Ryan is just too kind-hearted. That's why he was fooled by a woman like you. I didn't bother responding. I turned and walked toward the courthouse. In court, Ryan insisted on not divorcing me, until I presented the intimate photos Sarah had sent over the years. There were photos of her pouting and kissing his cheek, clinging to him, and even one of Ryan holding Sarah while shirtless. These images had once caused me sleepless nights, but now, as I looked at them, I felt nothing. Ryan wasn't unaware of Sarah's manipulations. He simply used it to his advantage, lingering between two women, enjoying my care while basking in Sarah's admiration. The court ultimately granted our divorce and ordered the division of marital assets in accordance with the law. After the trial, I was discussing with my lawyer where to go to celebrate when Ryan suddenly grabbed my arm and pulled me aside. Chloe, are you satisfied now? I'd like to see how you're going to live without me. Ryan sneered. In his eyes, I was nothing more than a pampered housewife, with a life that revolved solely around him. But he forgot, I used to be an excellent fashion designer. He was the one who said he wanted a strong supporter. So, I resolutely quit my job to become a housewife. For the past few years, I have been busy pleasing my mother-in-law, taking care of Ryan, who left early and came home late, sometimes so busy that I forgot about myself. When Sarah began appearing more frequently in our lives, I knew Ryan had changed. His affection for Sarah was no longer the same brotherly care he once had. He would let Sarah drink from his glass, tolerate her teasing and hugs, and remember every special occasion for her. But when it came to me, it was just thoughtless gifts, always the things Sarah didn't want, and even our wedding anniversary had to be repeatedly reminded before he would remember. This one-sided effort to maintain our relationship had become too exhausting, and it was time to finally end it. I struggled out of his grasp and slapped him hard across the face. How I live from now on has nothing to do with you. That slap was long overdue. You know me, I always repay what's owed. With that, I turned and walked away, not bothering to look back. Chapter 8. After the divorce, my best friend and I opened a fashion store together, and business was booming. But then, a video suddenly surfaced online. It was Sarah, broadcasting on a live streaming platform, accusing me of stealing her boyfriend and pushing her down the stairs. For a time, the internet was filled with heated discussions, and some viewers, digging into her previous videos, managed to find my personal information. My social media accounts were immediately flooded with attacks. Rot in hell. *TCH. This woman is evil. Knowing the other girl had depression, she still kept provoking her. Not only did she steal her boyfriend, but she tried to murder her. She deserves to be locked up for years. The store's business suffered greatly, and many people who didn't know the truth even sent funeral wreaths to my house and shop. Enraged, I called Ryan. Can you control your dog and stop her from attacking me? Or don't blame me if I fight back. Ryan was silent for a while and then simply said, I really didn't know about this. After hanging up, I calmly compiled the full timeline of my relationship with Ryan and Sarah, laying out all the details. I also uploaded the surveillance footage from the stairwell. Soon, the tide of public opinion turned against Sarah. All I'm getting is that pretentious vibe. This girl must have been drinking too much green tea. She tried to be a mistress, failed, then turned around and framed someone else, using depression as a cover. Absolutely despicable. Trashy guy and trashy girl. A perfect match. Luckily, the blogger got out fast. Before long, Sarah was detained for defamation. Ryan came to see me, looking much more worn out than before. He immediately tried to grab my hand, but I pulled away. Chloe, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. There had been too many misunderstandings over the years. But now, I don't care anymore. His face fell. Chloe, is there still a chance for us? I shook my head. Chapter 9. After leaving Ryan, I found that the nightmares that once plagued me no longer returned. I no longer had to worry about whether he had eaten or if his stomach was bothering him. I no longer had to anxiously stare at my phone, waiting for a response. I no longer had to question who he was with or if I still had a place in his heart. I focused all my time on my work, and the store's business steadily improved. The next time I saw Ryan was at my best friend's wedding. I was busy greeting guests when he suddenly showed up. The way he looked at me held a hint of admiration. Chloe, you look beautiful today. Now, I could face him with calmness and just smiled, nodding. Thank you. On the stage, the groom knelt on one knee, and the bride's face was filled with happiness. For a moment, it reminded me of how Ryan and I used to be. Back then, he had looked at me the same way, full of love. He had loudly proclaimed to everyone, Chloe, Ryan, will love you for the rest of my life. When did it all start to change? Was it when I went to his office and saw the impatience on his face? Was it the countless nights I waited for him without a single message? Was it the times Sarah provoked me again and again, and he turned a blind eye, despite knowing the truth? Applause thundered through the hall, pulling me back to reality. When I looked at Ryan, he was already staring at me. I quickly looked away, After the ceremony, my best friend came over with a man and introduced him. Chloe. This is my husband's friend. He's in the fashion business too. You two should chat sometime. She winked at me, and I understood her intention, smiling as I agreed. The man in front of me was quite the gentleman. He extended his long fingers and gently clasped mine. Nice to meet you. My name is Leo. Just then, Ryan appeared out of nowhere, grabbing my wrist and pulling me aside. Chloe, we just got divorced, and you're already rushing to find someone else? I yanked my hand out of his grasp, deliberately putting distance between us. We're divorced now. Even if I went to get married today, you'd have no right to interfere. He stepped forward and pulled me into his arms. Chloe, I know I was wrong. The moment I saw him holding your hand, I went crazy. I finally realized how much pain you've been in all these years. Chloe, please give me another chance. I struggled hard, but the tighter he held me, my nails scratched long marks down his face. Ryan, you make me sick. His arms suddenly dropped, and his eyes were filled with sadness. Chloe, how did we end up like this? We used to be so in love. For the first time, this once composed and self-assured man lost control. He crouched down on the ground and began to sob. I found it incredibly ironic. I used to go out of my way to please him, and he couldn't have cared less, treating me like I was worthless. Now that I no longer love him, he's clinging to me. Ryan, delayed affection is worth less than grass. Leaving him with those words, I didn't look back as I walked away. Chapter 10. Leo asked me out a few more times, but I turned him down each time. My best friend said I was like someone who had been bitten by a snake, forever scared of ropes. I smiled. She wasn't wrong. The damage Ryan had done to me was too great. The sweetness of love could very easily turn into the pain of marriage. I was too afraid to take that gamble again and didn't want to. Perhaps one day, there will be someone who can make me let go of everything and open my heart to love again. I'm waiting for that day to come. The end.